Hello, friends. I'm Brian, and this is Gizmo Board Games. Today, I'm coming with an idea that my brother brought to me from not even a board game group or videos or whatever that he follows, but it's something similar to what they do there. I believe in the whiskey, whatever, based group or whatever he watches, where they do kind of a desert island style idea, and he gave me the concept for moving it into the board game realm, where I'm going to give he gave me 6, but I'm going to go ahead and do 7 different kind of themes of games that would be my keeper games, desert island games, whatever you want to call it. It's that idea where I only get one game of a certain type to keep from my collection, or at least that's my rule. You can kind of manipulate it as you want. But hopefully we can get this kind of going around the community a little bit. I'm going to offer it up to a couple content reviewers that I know and see if maybe they carry it out and offer it up to someone else that they know and move it around the world. We'll see how it goes. But that's the concept of at least how he got the idea is, you call someone else out and they deliver their own idea. So these 7 islands, or whatever you want to look at them, that I'm going to be using for this. And again, my rule is these have to have been in my collection already. So they're my island keeper games if I had to keep one game of certain types. And we'll get into where that affected my list a little bit here in a minute. But for now, the 7 islands are a card game. He offered up a deck of card, which one deck of card game would you play with that? I don't know that you can have a deck of cards anywhere and play all the games, so I don't feel that very limiting. But if I had to choose a deck of card game, kind of as an honorable mention, I really love playing spades, and so that would be my one deck of card game. But I open this up to the realm of just a single small deck game from my shelf. We'll get into. Actually, let's go ahead and get into that now. Why not? I'm not going to introduce the 7 things. I'm going to start off with the first thing. My deck of card game is Fluxx, and I'm going to choose Marvel Fluxx just because it's the most welcoming. It's not my favorite one. My favorite one is the Monty Python Fluxx. But if I had to choose one that I wanted other people to play with me, the Marvel one just seems more welcoming. So this is my choice. But really, Fluxx has so many options and different game types. I'm upside down here. So for me, my card deck game is going to be one of the Fluxxes, and for me, I'm going with the Marvel Fluxx in this instance, even though it's not my favorite. The next category is party game. One party game that I have that I would be my keeper game. And a party game, at least I'm defining as a game where the score doesn't matter. You've got a bunch of people, you're sitting around, you're just having a good time playing a game. Maybe imbibing, maybe not, I don't know. But this is the game where it doesn't matter. It plays a lot of people, usually relatively quick, and nothing's really on the line. And for me, you've heard me talk about this a bunch before as one of my few party games. I'm not a party gamer normally. I'll play them for sure. Don't get me wrong, but they're not really my cup of tea. I would much rather play a Think a Euro for 3 hours than 5 party games any given game night. But if I'm going to play one, I really like Bang the Dice game. In this game, everybody's got a role. Outlaws are trying to kill the sheriff. The sheriff and deputy are trying to keep the sheriff and deputy alive. And you're rolling dice. You're dealing with attacks from the Indians with the arrows. You can shoot people at certain distances away. You can heal yourselves up with beer. I'm a beer guy. I've mentioned that before. So a lot of the theme I like. Western, everybody gets their own not only hidden role, but unique identity of what outlaw they are, and those each give special one person advantages, and they're all different and unique and fun, and they really add to the game. So Bang the Dice game is definitely the one party game I go to when I'm playing with 6 or 7 people. I think this plays to 8 or 9, maybe. I might be wrong. I can't read. It's too small. But yeah, this one will play quite a bit. It plays really quick. Some games maybe not as quick because of the dice rolls and how good your deputies are. But the only person you know is the sheriff. Everything else is hidden. You got to suss it out, figure out who's working with you, who's working against you. This one definitely plays better at a higher player count for sure. And that's why I like Bang the Dice game for my party game. Also, it's small in case I don't have room in my case for all these games. I don't know those stipulations, but the first 2 games are small. That's about to change as we move on to the family game category. And the way he introduced this is the game where you play with anyone of any age. You know, you're playing with the family. Kids could be involved, grandma could be involved, whatever. And I know this game works because I played it with my kids and my mom and other people. Everybody's enjoyed it. The Isle of Cats. And another reason I chose this, and that's kind of true for a lot of these games, is if I've only got the one game to fit a certain bill, I want to make sure there's plenty in the game. And I've got a lot in this box. It's the big box of things. So there's a lot of different variety in expansion content and stuff I can throw in. So maybe that's a cheat. I don't know. Hey, this is my list. So that went into thought with a lot of these coming up, as you'll see. How much is in the one box I get to keep. So I've got all the expansions in here for Isle of Cats, but the reason I picked this for the family game is because there's 2 or 3 different ways to play it. One of them being the simple family mode where all you're doing is drafting cats and putting them on your boat. Easy peasy. Everybody's got the same scoring scale and everything like that. But then you could, if you don't have the kids involved, you could make it a thinky strategy game for actual gamers or adults or whatever you want to say. And play the standard mode where you're drafting cards and you're keeping an eye on your finances being fished to feed the cats and the number of cats you can bring back and turn order and things like that. So there's a lot that can be brought into this box, into the game, no matter what your group composition is. You can play it with the little kids in the basic easy family mode, or you can play with the big kids in the regular mode. And Isle of Cats, with all of its expansions, is my choice for the family game I would keep on my desert island, or whatever we want to call this experience. And I apologize for bumping the mic. All right, the next category is classic game. The game that everybody knows, everybody has, whatever, the classic game category. And for me, my choice was Clue. Easy. I love Clue. Clue's fun. It's thinky. Again, it's easy enough to play with everybody. Everybody's got Clue. And I went to grab mine off the shelf and I got rid of my Clue. I don't have my Clue anymore. So I had to kind of reface to meet the own rules of, you know, I've got to own the game to keep the game, right? So whatever happened on my Clue, it's gone. So for classic game, this might be a cheat, but I'm going to go with Ticket to Ride instead. Hopefully this counts enough as a classic game. It's an older game. It's one that you can find easily anywhere. Pretty much, I think everybody's played it. Or at least most people. I can't say everybody's claimed it. And I won't say this is in every house like Clue and Monopoly and Life and things like that. But I think it's been around enough to be considered a classic game. A game I really enjoy. Gets people into the hobby. Introductory game. You can teach it to non-gamers pretty easy and fun. And so I hope this meets the bill. Like I said, my real answer was Clue, but somehow I don't own it anymore. So Ticket to Ride, or Zug from Germany here, because I got mine in Germany, is my choice for the classic game, or my fallback choice for a classic game that I would keep with me. Another one I feel like is a good classic as well. All right, and now the last 3 categories are just going to go from lightweight to medium weight to heavyweight. So that's kind of got to be self-defined, however you want to define those rules. But for lightweight, I figured anything that's rated on BGG 2-ish or lower, I'll call it lightweight. And then kind of the 2 to 3-ish range is my medium weight. And then, into the 3s and 4s definitely is going to be the heavyweight. So that's kind of what I went off with these choices. My lightweight game might be considered medium weight by some. But for me, I think it's light enough weight. I've got a bunch in the box. Again, it falls into that line of what's in the box that can kill time. I've got all the expansions. And I don't have any cooperative games yet. So I'm going with Subterra for my lightweight game. It's a cooperative game. So this is the one game where we're playing together and not against each other. The only game I've got like that on this collection. So I wanted to keep that in mind as well. I feel like this is light enough to teach and play and learn. I just really enjoy it. Hopefully we've got a lot of space wherever we're at with these games, because this one is a bit of a table hog once you get all the tiles out. But what you're doing is you're just going down in a cave, and depending on expansion, you might be collecting things or whatever. But in general, you're just in a cave and you're flipping over tiles and dealing with the things that come out that are trying to harm you, while trying to find the exit and escape and get everybody out of the cave. So cooperative game, basically lightweight. I don't find this one too heavy. I've got all the expansions, so again, that fit that what's in the box bill for me. So Subterra is going to be my lightweight game. Medium weight game. I don't know if most people would consider this medium weight, but it is 2 point something or other on BGG, and I felt like that fits the bill for light or for medium weight game, upper twos. And for me, it's my special edition Castles of Burgundy box. Again, took into consideration what's in the box. There's a bunch of content in this box. A great solo mode if it's just me playing. I love the Castles of Burgundy solo mode. Stefan Feld is probably my favorite designer, so I had to get a Feld game. I can't not have a Feld game, right? And this was one of my favorite games, period. But there's, 4 or 5 different modules in here to add or not add to each game. I love the gameplay. I really love Castles of Burgundy, so there's no reason to not keep this off this list as one of my keepers, because so much in the box, so much that I love that is in this box. My favorite designer. This was an easy dub for me. Medium weight game. I don't think it's that complex. If you grasp games enough, you're going to be able to grasp the Castles of Burgundy. It's rolling dice and then using those dice to take actions. You get 2 actions a round, a bunch of rounds. Try to get a bunch of points by drafting the right tiles and using them timely to get the most of their benefit for placement. I really love the Castles of Burgundy. Easily my medium weight keeper. And finally, the heavyweight game. And this one I struggle with. I have a lot of heavyweight games, for one, defining it as 3+ on the scale of difficulty on BGG. But I had to think about, not only do I have to like the game, but I got to feel like there's enough in the box. Again, if I'm stuck with only 7 games, there's got to be enough in the box to make it worth keeping. And that discounted quite a few of my favorite games. I would love Orleans, but it's the same game in the box. Viticulture, mostly the same game in the box, but that was close. Any of these Vital Lacerda games, they're over my shoulder. I really like those games. They're great, thinky, heavy games, but they don't have as much in the box as the one I'm deciding to hold on to. And that's going to be Jiangnan Life of Gentry. I've mentioned this game a bunch in the past, at least recent past. It's worker placement. It's bag building. It's area control. It's resource manipulation and management and tight action selection choices. I love all those things that make a heavy game. They're all in here, and it doesn't feel like everything but the kitchen sink like some of the other games, like Dune Imperium. I don't own it, but that could have been a choice for heavy game. What else do I have with a lot of things in the box that do a lot of things? I'm thinking Endless Winter, Pale Americans, Lost Ruins of Arnak. They do a bunch of those things. This one does a bunch of those things. The thing that made this one stand out to me is there's 6 or 7 different chapters in this game which add or subtract or change up different little pieces you use, different little modules. You use one side of the helper card or the other, depending on, you can add different draft tiles into the game or leave them out. So I felt like this one, with its 6 or 7 different modules, just allow for options of gameplay. So I'm not playing the same game every time. And that's kind of what pushed this one over the edge. Aside from the fact that I really, really like this game, and I think more people need to know about it and play it and check it out, it's got that variability. And like I mentioned with some of these other games, just the fact that there's more in the box is kind of what helped this one go over the edge and take the coveted spot. Because, every one of these games was fighting for a coveted spot on this list. And at the end, I think Jiangnan Life Gentry is the one I would keep if I had to do it. And I say that knowing Concordia and Arc Nova are literally my top 2 games. They've been my top 2 games for 2-3 years now. But they don't have as much in the box. I mean, they do, especially my boxes. But in the end, you're playing the same game. And this one, I feel like, even though I haven't even touched all the modules, it has enough modules to make it feel like a different game. And so that's why that's it. So my 7 games, I've got Marvel Flux for the card game I keep. I've got Bang the Dice game for my party game. I've got Isle of Cats for my family game. I've got Ticket to Ride / Clue, if I ever pick Clue back up, for my classic game. Subterra for my lightweight game. Castles of Burgundy is my medium weight game, and Jiangnan Life of Gentry is my heavyweight game. And now I'm going to call out Anthony and Francis from Antlab Games to please provide your 7 desert island games, or whatever you want to call it. Either work together on one or each do your own separately. That's up to you. I made this up based on what my brother sent me as an idea. But I would love to see this go around and see other people's choices for these 7 categories and what you keep from your list. So I might have called out other people, but those people don't really do as much content. So Antlab Games, Anthony, Francis, what do you got? I'm calling you out. All right, that's it for this video. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you like the idea or didn't like the idea, comment below and let me know what you liked or didn't like about it. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already, because I bring you more videos like this, reviews, top 10s, and just whatever in the board game industry. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.